EE1520 students. I'm going to use this recording, um, which you will be seeing this on March 3rd, I believe, to go over two things. Number one, the installation of WSL, which is Windows subsystem for Linux. The link is over here. You can actually see the detail um, on this link over here. Um, and if you follow this step by step, you should be able to see that. That's number one. I want you to go over that. Number two, I want to show you after you successfully install WSL on your window box. By the way, if you're using Mac, then you don't need to do this. You should be able to get directly to the second part. The second part is via GitHub. You can download all the material from this website, this site, and try to do repeat what we did in class, or you can download it during the class, which is highly encouraged for you to do that. So two things we're going to do it today. One is WSL installation and basic setup, also to update like a Linux package so you can run program such as yes, GCC compiler or G++ compiler and a bunch of other tools. And the second part, after we done that, we will show you how to use GitHub to repeat, reproduce what we did in the class. Okay, so you will see me, I have actually two windows here. One is connecting to um, my MacBook, which is I'm doing the recording, but I'm also using my the other laptop, which is Windows. So now I'm going to switch over there. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Just a moment. Turn off my. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Uh, okay, I'm over here. So the first thing on a window machine is that you have to um, open an application called PowerShell. So PowerShell is like a regular Windows on your Windows machine, except it had a administrator's privilege. So allow us to do some installation. So we have to go over here and well, no, sorry, go over here. This search and say PowerShell. You see, it's coming up, window PowerShell. So I'm going to click it. So now I have this window shell here. So I do an installation. I would just say Okay, make sure when you do this, you have internet because when you install the WSL Linux, um, you will need to use internet to do that. So it's WSL dash dash install. So I prefer you just use dash dash install. This will install a default Ubuntu, which is less complicated. The whole class using the same version, which is good. I mean, you can customize, but you will learn how to customize a bit later. But today, this video will just talk about the default. So I will just hit enter. And you will hear, okay, now you cannot see this because of the recording, but it will be probe you about like whether you allow application change or setting. You will just click yes. Okay, now is start to do that. It will take a while. Again, I have to press yes at this point. By the way, you can do this in front of the computer in front of you in the classroom. Okay, now if you see the screen, it says that it has finished executing all the command that for the installation. However, it says that you have to restart your machine because this installation of Linux is going to change some of the configuration of the Windows system. So I have to restart the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my MacBook to continue the recording, and then while we're doing the reset. And I think I have to say leave here. Oh, okay. So I'm unmute myself. I you probably don't hear what I said. I was doing reset on the other machine right now, so it has to kill the Zoom recording. But now let's actually look at some of the stuff happening here on my MacBook, so I can continue my lecture. Um, uh, so so this is the step we just follow from this particular document. We did WSL, and I skipped this. So now I'm actually going to set up the Linux user information. Oh, okay. There are two things I'm going to do. This document is the second link. When it probe us, we need to set up a username and password because if you're going to install this on your own laptop, uh, you do whatever user and password you want. But please remember, okay, if you don't remember that, there is a way to recover. As mentioned over here, you can actually recover your password using WSL minus U root. However, if you're installing for the computer in the classroom, the username, please set it up to be NCKU. And the password, please set up to be EE1520. So this is going to be something which is other student, when they come in, they can actually use the same account to log in. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the other computer. And I'm going to unshare my screen here and mute my. Joining the. Okay, I hope you can see me now. So the first thing you should see on your screen when you log in, I have to kill this. Just so many things which I stay co-host should be over here. Ooh, wait a minute. You should see something looks like this, but I believe there's another window I need to set up. Where's my, let me just kill this. I don't want this one. Okay, finally. Okay, so wait a minute. Did I have my audio? Okay, I think I have my audio. 1 second. Hello? Okay, yeah, I think I have everything. Good. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, you can see I already have this WSL, but what I'm going to do is when you click on this this tab, you want to see that, now you should be able to see Ubuntu here already. Okay, so I can click on Ubuntu. And the first thing is, the first time when you log into Ubuntu, it's going to ask you for um, some of the user configuration. So just for a moment. Okay, now you see it's creating a Unix user account. You see that for some reason, it has this 3-letter SER pop up. At least every time I install on Windows machine, it starts with SER. Let me tell you the trick. It's actually asking you for a default Unix user account, which I said earlier, it should be NCKU. So I use backspace. Okay, first I have to click in and change to English. It's probably because my keyboard English Chinese. So I have to make sure I'm using English. And when I get in, I backspace, backspace, backspace. So now I can start typing my um, um, username. So username is NCKU. Oh, okay, here you can see that. And when I enter, it's asking for a new password. So I'm going to do EE1520. You cannot see that. You can hear me. And then you have to retype it, EE1520. Okay, at this moment, you're basically inside this Linux console already. Okay, so we're going to do a few things. Now you have a Linux, but however, your Linux, I can move this. I don't know why. Now I can move this a little bit. Okay. However, this window, this Linux has pretty much very basic stuff, but it doesn't have the tool. It doesn't have all the updates. So I'm going to do um, type in a few commands for you to be able to make sure that your Linux environment is up to date, at least for this semester. So you type sudo. Oh, to go to English. Why is keep changing to Chinese? Sudo apt update, and then my password is EE1520. Okay, so now it's actually going to update everything for my, of course, you need to have your internet connected. Okay, so I have this. Now I can do sudo apt upgrade. So it's basically say there's about how many package they want to update. That's fine. Yes. Okay. Now it will take a while. Okay, so now let's try something. Let's do GCC. If you type GCC, it will say, oh, command GCC not found, but can be installed using sudo apt install GCC. If you do G++, it has the same thing. And then if you do another popular command, we're going to teach you how to do that, but not today's make. And make is not there. You have two options to install. So you can see that the Ubuntu environment, you're using this apt command with the sudo. Why is sudo? Because you're installing a particular package or particular library onto your system, and you need to have privilege to do that. And by the way, the account NCKU has the what we call privilege. Sometimes we call the sudo privilege. So sudo is a command in front of any other command to show you want to execute that command with super user mode. Okay, so that's why it called sudo. Sometimes su means you connect yourself to super user. Do means you want to do something with your super user privilege. Okay, so let's try to install. Let's do this sudo apt install GCC and G plus. Let me install this one by one. Okay, again, this yes. Okay, so now let's install G++. Again, yes. Basically, the Linux environment is like such. You use a bunch of command to realize what you have or you don't have. If you don't have, just look at the command and then just type sudo apt whatever, install or something else or update, upgrade, and then you will be able to have that. The other one, which I think is important, is called GDB. GDB is GNU debugger. So G under the Linux environment stands for GNU, GNU, which has a bunch of two. GDB is GNU debugger, which is very powerful. And there is another one which we will be using is install make. The make is a very important program, which I'm not going to uh, show you the detail, I would dedicate that to a separate lecture. Okay, the make is installed. And finally, the one that I really like is called Emacs. Emacs is the editor because I have to have a way to edit the file. And there's on Linux environment, there are two kinds of editor. There's most popular. The editor is going to happen on your terminal. Okay, by the way, Linux is quite different from your like a Visual Studio Code kind of development. I mean, by the way, I will teach you how to do Visual Studio Code onto Linux, but today we're going to focus on the basic thing. You're using what we call the editor or terminal based editors to allow you to change anything. And one is Emacs, one is a VI or VIM. VI usually come by default, but for some reason, when I first use Linux, I use Emacs. So I'm going to install Emacs. And I'm installed on the no Windows X version. That's probably. Okay, at this moment is actually saying that whether I want to set up some email because email, by the way, Emacs is not only the editor, it's an email system. You can use Emacs to mail your email, but I don't want to do that, so I'm going to say no configuration. Okay, there's a lots of message. The message I don't want to, unless it says arrow, then I don't care. Okay, so now you can see, for example, I can do Emacs minus, say, EE. You see, I can have a bunch of file and then Control X, Control S, and then I save it, Control X, Control S, Control X, Control C. Now I have this file. Okay, so now more or less, if you type, by the way, let me just check GCC. Yeah, GCC is there, G++, G++ is there, and then make is there. That's great. So all the program pretty much I want has been installed successfully. That means if you actually be able to have this tool running, pretty much all the things you need for this semester with EE 1520, you have a working environment. Okay, so that's great. So now, but the thing is, there's no program for us to build. And remember, we talked something called GitHub. So I want you to now learn how to use this environment to integrate into the code we show on GitHub, and then you can do something. So I want to go to GitHub. I assume you have a GitHub account, by the way. So I'm going to go to the GitHub. Can I do this? Can I make you a little bit smaller? Okay. Okay, I hope you can see my. All right, I finally make it smaller so I can. Okay, I'm going to go GitHub. Chinese. Why you cannot stick to my English keyboard? So I go to GitHub and I go over here. Okay, you should go to our the repository sfelixwu/e. So if you go to this particular GitHub link, which I hope you by this time you know where to get your GitHub and the link for this class. Let me just read it to you. Is github.com/sfelixwu/EE1520, and you can see all this HBO, which stands for host builder, and PowerPoint slides, test program, heap01.c, which we talked about last time, and insights.c last week, and then stack01.c, and those kind of programs, and then our like a curriculum over there as well. So okay, I have to, but all this GitHub is on the GitHub server. It's not on your local computer, so you cannot do much with it. So we have the first to download it. Download it, go to the code session. If you click on code, you will see that it says download zip. So it's going to put everything in a zip file and to your Windows machine. Okay, so it's already done. So let's see where it is. Okay, on your window machine. So this is getting interesting. So now with WSL on your machine, virtually, you have two operating systems. One is on your Windows, one is on your Linux. So you can see that the data integration or the file system, you have two file system. So is you have to figure out how to interoperate between these two operating systems. Now you see I'm on a Windows system. I can see that my download. Let me see. Did I have my download? Let me see. Okay, if I go to download, you see that? I have this file, EE1520-man. The file is already there. So I want to copy this file from Windows into my Linux. I mean, there's a way you potentially can share the same file. You don't have to copy. That's a bit more advanced. I'm not going to tell you how to do that at this moment. But I'm going to show you how you can copy this file at least into your Linux world, and you can do everything under the Linux system. So let's go back to the Linux. Okay, so under Linux, if you do an ls, okay, let's make it good. Let's first create a directory so I can have a one directory dedicated for EE1520 related activity. So I'm going to use mkdir make directory. So this is similar. If you're familiar with the window terminal has a command called md, which is an mkdir. I mean, it's just so similar. They're the same thing. They just want to show their difference. So that's why one is mkdir, one's md. Okay, so I will do create mkdir. I will call it E1520. Okay, so I create this directory. If you do ls, by the way, pwd showing where you are. So you can see that the username, the NCKU, all the user, their directory is under home. I mean, when I have time, I will tell you the Unix file system, which have this hierarchy from slash home slash NCKU. Oh, by the way, there is a big difference between Unix and the Windows. Unix always, when they do file system, they use slash. But if you use a window, like you're using PowerShell, those kind of things, it's backslash. Okay, so backslash is window, and Unix is just a regular slash. That's another unreasonable difference that between two competitor in operating system world, and just make us kind of unhappy about that. Okay, so now I have this PW. I know that, so I have a directory. By the way, you do ls minus l, you can see that the first one, E1520, is a D, means it's directory. And then EE is just regular file. It's not a directory. So if it's directory, I can do CD change directory to EE1520. Okay, now I'm here, PWD, I'm happy, I'm under home, NCKU EE1520. You see, there is a tree. The top is home, and then the NCKU, the root is actually slash. And then the first level is home. The second level is NCKU, which is your user account. And the third level is the directory, which I create specifically for this class. Okay, but where's my zip file? Okay, that's tricky part. Okay, I want to be a little bit technical. There is a directory called df. df is showing your file system. So in the file system, it shows you a bunch of this. This is bunch of the file system. It's essentially telling you, okay, you might have 5 different hard drive, another 2 USB, another server drive from Google. So you have a bunch of hard drive around there. Each of the hard drive you have to somewhat include it into your system such that it view as a single hierarchy. So you can see that the first one is a user, lib, module, whatever. The second one, MNT, WSL. Okay, you see that you have everything. Okay, but notice that you have something called MMT, mount. Mount is try to mount a different file system in another place. Okay, I will try to give you more example. What did I mean another place? So over here, you see that over here, you have a MMT/C. MMT/C is a mount, and the secondary level is called C. What's that? Look at the left-hand side, C colon backslash. That sounds familiar. That's a window notation. That's your C drive in Windows system. So now I'm in Linux operating system. Now I can see my window through this directory MMT/C. So MMT/C is, you see that? This is the file system. I try to include it in my operating system, and I mount on one particular place in the Linux operating system. This is called mounting. Okay, when you go to operating system, I typically spend 4 weeks just talk about mounting, the concept, how it's being implemented. It's a fantastic. We don't have time to do that, obviously, this semester, but I can point you to a lot more information. So you can see that the file system is a window file system, C colon backslash. It's being mounted on the directory in Linux called MMTC. So if I'm a Linux user, I should really look at the rightmost side, MyRows column under mounted on. So you can do ls. By the way, ls is for you to see what you want to see. ls/mmt. If you do ls mmt, you will see that there is a C, WSL, WSLG. You don't worry about WSL, WSLG. You don't need to use that. But I'm interested in the C. Okay, MMTC. When I do MMTC, you see that this is actually into your file system, on the Windows side. If you're familiar with Windows side, okay. Notice that permission denied. Let me see if sudo will help me to get out of that. If I do sudo, you see that the difference between ls without sudo is it says that there's a permission denied, meaning that I don't have the privilege. But when I say sudo ls/mntc, okay, great. I can do that. I can see everything. That's good. Okay, because I have what we call privileged user or root user privilege. Okay, now I want to see where's the file, where is the zip. Okay, this is a bit tricky, but since I have a lot of experience, I know how to do that. So let me tell you, the first level is going to be users. You see that there is a one tab is users over here. That's a directory. Let me try one more thing before you can see that I have this, but let me try one more thing. I want to do ls-l. -l show a bit more information. So ls is just listing, ls-l is showing you more information such as whether it's directory. So you can see that there is something called link. There is something called D. I will talk about L. L is a symbolic link, which might or might not mean anything to you at this moment, but it's a virtual thing for you to link things together. I mean, the reason I didn't want to do the other way is I'm actually going to create symbolic link directly into the window file system. But now let's do copy, okay? All right, so under here, there is a one directory called user. So I'm /mnt/c/user. So I'm going to do users. Okay, user now have a lot of stuff, and one of the stuff is called downloads. So now let's do downloads. Now we see our file, EE1520-main.zip. This was the file we actually downloaded from GitHub. Okay, so if you see this file, that means this file is on your computer already, but it's on the Windows side. Now I have to bring it in to my Linux side using the command copy in Unix is CP. I mean, you can do a man CP. It will show you how to copy file or directory. It will, man, by the way, is another very commonly used command for us to kind of know the Unix. Okay, so I'm going to Q and I'm going to do CP. I'm going to do this. Let me see if I do this without using. Okay, so I don't know if you saw me. How do I jump? I use Control E. Control E is a command with Emacs. So using Emacs, I can do a lot of things, even with a Unix command, much easier. When I have a time you're doing one-on-one with me, I will show you a little bit more detail to how to play with your Unix environment very quickly. Okay, so now I want to get to EE. So I just type EE over here, and then, okay, what I did right now, you cannot see which key I type. I type tab. When I type tab, it automatically found the file. So this is kind of nice with terminal because you don't have to type the whole thing. You just type a few letter, maybe some even a couple letter. You hit a tab. The terminal will tell you what are the best option match. It's pretty much like a Google, but it was a Google created in 1970 about how to operate on your computer. By the way, computer science is nothing innovative. I have been doing computer for 40, 45 years in my career. It's just nothing really stands out to me, changed much since, say, the first program I wrote probably in 1982. Okay, so okay, I'm copy this file and then I put a dot. Dot in Unix means current directory. So I copy that file into my current directory. When I hit enter, you can do an ls. You see that now I have that file in front of me. Now you can see what I did. All this is telling you how to bring the file into a from Windows to the Unix environment. By the way, you can do the other thing. I can actually copy the file back to that directory via the same path. This is all read and writable. Okay, so you can do both way, which means that you can easily conjunction this window world and the Unix world in terms of the information, in terms of file. Okay, so now I'm trying to unzip it, right? This is a zip, so I try to unzip it. With zip file, there are multiple zip and unzip program. Over here, the most popular is probably unzip. So I do unzip. E again, I tap. I hit this. Oh, now it says command unzip not found, but can be installed with sudo apt install unzip. Okay, that's good. The computer gave us a hint. So we do sudo apt install unzip. Great. So now I actually just run this again. Now you see that it's unzip it, do ls. You can see that it's put everything under directory code EE1520-main. So let's change directory to EE1520-main. You see that? I'm here with all the file pwd. If you pwd, now this is the tree that we just went through hierarchy from home, NCKU, EE1520. Now is EE1520-main. Okay, you will be doing this process a lot whenever you see a new file from the GitHub, which I will keep updating. I pretty much update everything before and after class, okay, and a bunch of information there, and a lot of those you need to download it and then copy into your Unix so you can doing the things we're doing in the class. So let's just try a little bit. For example, I want to compile the int size.c. So I would just say gcc int size.c. Okay, after that, you see I have a file called a.out, so /a.out. Okay, by the way, you want the SQL program by default you should do a dot slash a dot out. Okay. I will do a dot out. The things I want to check is whether this Linux is a 64-bit or 32-bit. And apparently the last line, you see that the size of voice star is 8 byte. Okay, we talk about that. So it's 64-bit computer. Great. Okay, by the way, I want to tell you why I have to do dot slash a dot out. Let me talk just a little bit. So you can actually see if you do let me see. That's interesting. Okay, fine. In this case, probably a dot is okay. Let me see. No, a dot I will say command not found. I have to say dot a dot slash a dot out to tell them to look for the current directory. Okay. I know what I want to do. Just a little bit Unix. Okay, you don't have to do the following, but it's interesting. So if I always have to type dot slash a dot out. And then if I just type a dot out, it was a command I found, even if the command is in the same directory, I'm typing this. Okay, so it's a bit strange. What do I why this? So the Unix operating system, they have a specific directory. They want to find the command you want to execute. So now the command is called a.out. So if you do an echo $pass, that means this is all the directory is searching for the executable, the command file to execute. And if you look at everything of this, is nothing is related to /home/ NCKU /EE1520. So it's not searching the current directory. So how do I fix that? One of the way to do this is export pass. Let me try to do that. I haven't done this for a while. It's equal to dot $pass. Okay, so I'm actually adding I'm modifying the environment. By the way, pass is called environment variable in Unix, meaning that I need to find some information. I can look at this environment variable. One of the environment variables is called pass. So I want to modify and add dot in front of that. If I do this, now if I do echo pass, you can see that the pass is almost the same, except now I have a dot in front of this. So basically I'm telling the system, say, hey, next time you look for command, not just look for your favorite places, you try to have it, but first look for dot, which is the current directory. So now if I do a.out, you see, I don't have to put dot slash. So that's why the reason I put dot slash a.out is because I assume the pass variable has not included dot. You have a way to configure to do that. Okay, now this is a little bit more advanced practice. I typically do not want to put dot in my pass. The only reason is that if I want to execute from my current directory, I want to be specific. I want to say dot slash a.out because there might be the same executable, the same name, they're in different directory. I mean, how do I know which one I want? So if I want to ask you the current directory, I know what I'm doing now. So I want to put a dot slash. That's I feel it's a good habit, even though I have to type 2 more characters. Okay, so that's just to let you know. Okay, let's go to another example. For example, now I want to compile heap heap01.c. I say gcc heap 01.c, but now I actually want to generate executable. The name is somewhat different. I call it heap test. Okay, I call it heap test. So I do this compile, and after this, you can see that I have 2 executable. The green is executable because it has an X. You see that when I do LSL on the directory, nothing except these 2 files, a.out and heap_test. They are X, means executable. So now I have this, so I can say, if I use it, I usually do this, heap test If I do this, that's the command we show you on last Thursday regarding this. Okay, so at this moment, I cover two things. I hope after you finish this lecture, you follow it, you either playing around this on the computer in front of you, or you work on that on your own computer. Two things. Uh, Install the WSL, which is a Windows subsystem for Linux. And the second part is you need to update your system. Say you can install using sudo apt install GCC, G++, make GDB, Emacs, and also unzip, and maybe something else. So the Linux system is interesting is that whenever you need something, it will tell you, hey, you don't have this. You just basically install it, and then you need to have internet access. So that's one thing. You create yourself a workable Unix C++ environment for this quarter. Keep saying quarter. I'm no longer with UC Davis. Semester. I'm actually with NCKU right now. Okay, so the second thing I want you to learn is how do you download the GitHub, and you can work around between two operating systems on the same computer. One is your Linux environment, one is your Windows environment. Okay, with this, you should be good to go. Okay, I'm sorry I'm not with you physically, but I hope you do well this semester, this week, and I'm looking forward to see you. If you have any question, just let me know. By the way, I need to create a Discord profile, so you guys can directly interact with me every moment. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here. And now I'm switching back. Okay, so pretty much we went through um, this link here, which tell you how to install Windows WSL and how to set up your, and remember, I just want to type in the username should be NCKU. The password should be EE1520 if you want to install on the computer in the classroom. But if your personal computer, do whatever you want. Just make sure you remember. Okay, you guys have a good week. And if you have any question, please ask the TA. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.